Hello and welcome to Goblin Gaming. I'm Xanthus and we're going to be looking at a game called Greedland today. Greedland is a bullet heaven / swarm survivor style game. It's futuristic 3D, pretty to look at. Has quite a bit of meta progression within it and does a few rather unique things for the genre. So let's first take a look at the systems really quick and then we'll get into the gameplay. So the layers of meta progression are as follows. You have your power armor, which are your suits. Essentially, these are your classes. Weapons are the different starting weapons that you have. Equipment are the other slots that you use. So when you're playing the game, you have 1 weapon and 6 equipment slots. Air support are random airdrops that can come in and give you basically, air support. And I don't know what Titan Mech is yet because it's not here yet. So for instance, air support, it could drop a repair tool, an overload that makes us stronger, an ice ring that freezes things, a magnet, shield that makes us invincible, cluster bombs that rain fire from the sky, incendiary bombs that drop a bunch of fire grenades from the sky. Pretty cool. Looks like we can also unlock a small nuke at some point. Sweet. Awesome. For power armor, we have currently 6 classes. I have 3 of them unlocked. Vanguard is your all-arounder. Ranger is one that relies on equipment rather than weapons, and Fury is one that relies on weapons rather than equipment. Guardian looks like it's going to be a tank style. Valkyrie looks like it's focused on airdrops, more specifically. And Mastermind is just kind of all around good for everything, it looks like. Mastermind actually looks really strong in general. Probably the reason it's the last one to unlock. Cool. Weapons, we have the assault rifle, submachine gun, scattergun, shotgun, and laser gun currently unlocked. Looks like I just unlocked the flamethrower, so let's go ahead and unlock that real quick. We have not unlocked yet the burst gun, the blowtorch, the rocket launcher, the plasma thrower, or the Gauss rifle, so quite a bit of stuff here. Really dig the laser gun. It's a, it's a laser gun, but it does like refractive damage, so it can refract off enemies and bounce around. It's pretty cool. But we'll go ahead and check out the flamethrower because I haven't actually used it yet. We'll probably do a run in the future where I show you the laser gun, but we'll go ahead and do the flamethrower for now. I don't have enough meta progression to upgrade it yet. So there's 2 forms of meta progression. There's the G coins and then there's the power crystals. You get both while you're playing the game. The power crystals are a lot more rare, and they're what's primarily used to unlock most things in the meta progression. Equipment, these are the things in addition to the weapon that you get. So UAV is like a floating drone that shoots lasers at enemies. The Vulcans are laser guns that float by your shoulders and shoot in front of you. Plasma discs are basically your King Bible that flow around you. Ion Shield gives you a damage absorb, 1-hit damage absorb. As you level it up, you get multiple hits being absorbed. Grenades are really strong. They throw out grenades and leave a fire patch on the ground. Prism is interesting. It rotates around you like King Bible, and any projectiles that you shoot through it get increased damage. As you level this up, you get multiple prisms that orbit around you. Its evolution makes it bigger and do more damage amplification. It's pretty cool. I should mention each of these things, each of the equipments has their own evolution, similar to Vampire Survivors, except for they are just on their own, so you don't have to combine them with something, you just have to level them up to 7. So, Backwatcher shoots behind you whenever you shoot in front of you. So this is a nice way to make sure your back is covered. Orbital Cannon basically launches a laser from space. Think of like Command and Conquer Generals, the laser ultimate weapon they had. I don't know if anyone's played that game, but that's essentially what this is. And then Force Field, I just unlocked. I've not used this yet. It says Force Field can inflict damage to enemies in its range and increase the damage they take by 50%. So it looks like it's garlic that also adds a vulnerability effect. Very nice, very nice. All right. And we already went over the air supports. So mods are another form of meta progression. These are modifications to your suit that you attach. You have a capacity limit right here. I'm at 48 currently. In order to increase it, I have to level up my overall account. But 48 is how many slots we use, and you can see the capacity requirement here. So full power takes 6. That increases my damage by % per tier that I upgrade it. Firearms power increases weapon damage. As you kind of go through, I won't read all of these to you, but I'll just kind of click through so you can read them if you want. But as you go through, each one basically increases your overall raw stat power. Some of them do have downsides, like Glass Cannon does a big boost, but the cost of you take double damage. Most of them don't have downsides, they're just straight up good for you, but some do. So there are some interestingly unique ones in here as you kind of move through, like bullets bouncing is kind of unique and different. Let's see, where's another unique one? Cooldown's good, of course, max health, armor, movement speed. This one's interesting. So deal damage and push enemies back whenever you're injured. So whenever you take damage, you do a pulse of damage and push enemies back. That's kind of cool. I'm not currently using it, but it is one of the default ones you start with. Similarly, when you level up, you can do the same kind of damage pulse. Looks like I just unlocked conversion. When leveling up, restore HP equal to the mod level. Oh, that's cool. So that's a heal as you go. I might actually put that on. Reborn is basically like an extra life. AI auto aim is interesting. It gives you further distance where you can fire on enemies, so it just makes it so you can hit them from further away, but you can also toggle between manual targeting mode and auto aiming mode, which is pretty spiffy. You can choose to have automation on or off. If automation's on, when an airdrop comes up, when you run over it, it just automatically uses it. If it's off, you have to hit E to use it. I prefer off so you don't accidentally activate things when you don't want to, but that's totally a preference kind of thing. A lot of this comes down to preferences, but there are some things that are just straight power. Here's another one that's kind of preference. Add stabilizers to balance and movement speed so you move faster when you're shooting. If you don't have this on, you slow down when you're shooting, so you don't have as fast a movement speed. Magnet's giving me pickup range. Hawkeye actually zooms the camera out, like pans the camera out, and you can get vision in the game to pan the camera out as well. It's pretty cool. XP as you level up, airdrops faster, more airdrops out at a time. Yeah, more weapon damage per level. So yeah, there's some interesting stuff. If I take this one off, then my character can't move. Notice it has a 0 capacity. But if you wanted a no movement challenge, I suppose you would take that off and do that. Yeah, so there's some interesting things in here. I would guess without shooting license, your equipment only. I don't know how you would do that because you don't start with any equipment. I guess you would do that in combination with the you take damage, you do damage thing so you can get your initial equipment item. That'd be kind of an interesting run to try. But HUD gives you information about experience. So this is your UI. You could do a clean, immersive run with no UI, I guess. So yeah, there's some interesting options in here. All right, so now as we move past mods, we're going to go into missions. This is your primary way to progress your account as you play. You're going to have 3 missions at a time. When you complete those, you'll level up your account. As you level up your account, you unlock more equipment, more mods, more power armors, all that stuff. You also get these achievement missions as you play the game where you can get meta progression of both types. So you can see here, I got 400 meta progression for doing various things. And then I have a bunch more missions. These just kind of naturally happen. You don't really need to target them. They just happen as you play. Just a nice little bonus to keep your meta progression rolling along. But it's pretty cool. And then the map. There are 3 zones. Currently, I have 2 of them unlocked. Each one is a little bit different, right? And within each one, there are subzones as well. Endless is not in yet, but they are working on it. Each subzone has their own challenges that you can activate for extra resources and rewards. And each subzone also has 3 difficulties that give you more reward the higher you go and make it harder, and also change the lighting aspect of the level. So you can see there's quite a lot of depth to this game. And when I first booted it up, I didn't think there was that much, but there is quite a lot of depth to this game. So what we're going to do is I'm going to go through, I'm going to modify my mods real quick. I want to put on one of those ones I just got and just kind of make sure everything's kind of lined up, and then we're going to jump into a match. Now, it was kind of a long intro, but I wanted to give you a bird's eye overview of the game systems because there's quite a bit to it. Alrighty, let's go ahead and take a look at what missions they want us to accomplish right now, and then we'll choose their level. They want us to choose Prism during the run and upgrade it 4 times. Cool, we can do that. They want us to use the laser gun. Okay, guess we're using laser gun instead of flamethrower. That's okay. We'll grab flamethrower on the next run. I do dig laser guns, so that's good. And then they want us to complete Desert Area 5 with at least 2 challenges. Oof, that's going to be rough. All right. So Desert Area 5, and we can increase movement speed by 24%, reduce the experience we gain, or increase the airdrop time. Okay, well, we'll do faster movement speed of enemies and longer time between airdrops, I guess. I don't really want to nerf my experience gain, even though it is something I can counteract by gaining levels in the game. It just doesn't bode well for a new higher level area to get less levels. So, all right, let's go ahead and jump on in. As you can see, there is a dash option in the game, and you also have an activatable ability. This particular character's activatable ability is Overload. And what Overload does is essentially it's going to... The game's a little bit loud, isn't it? Overload is going to increase your fire rate and also your damage of your weapon as you play for a limited period of time. So G crystals, this is your meta currency that's a little bit harder to get, so I could get more of that, or I can unlock a new equipment slot to make my character more powerful. Since we're running 2 different challenges right now, I'm going to move more towards the equipment slot side of things. Since we know we're going to be using Prism, I'm going to use something that's going to fire projectiles forward that can go through the Prism. Neither of these 2 things do that. Although Plasma Disc may work because it starts at your body and expands outwards. I'm going to start with Vulcan because I know for sure that's going to work. Okay. Hopefully that music or the sound isn't too quiet now. It might be, but hopefully it's okay. All right. Prism. This is one of the main goals for our mission that we have. You can see it right there kind of rotating around me. All of these little green orbs on the ground, these are experience, obviously. So you can have blood displayed in this game in 2 ways. You can have green alien blood, or you can have realistic red blood. Up to you which way you want. But both are options. Let's see what force field's like, because I haven't seen that before. Interesting. Okay, so I assume as you level it up, the radius gets larger, hopefully. Hopefully. It does have a little knockback, it looks like, so that's helpful as well. Lets you just kind of plow through things. There's our first airdrop. It's Overload, which is actually the same thing as my right-click activate ability, which I just activated. Makes you fire faster and hit harder. See, my attack went from 17 to 29, and it like doubled my attack speed. Okay, we're gonna grab another rank Prism. You can see up top here it tells you what equipment item you're upgrading, and then down here it shows you the effect. The color of the text is the rarity, so weakness targeting is a little bit more rare, so a little bit stronger, but we're going to take Prism because, you know, we're doing the quest. Go and activate Overload. Could probably save those for bosses, but you can only have X number out at a time, so activating them will spawn a new like thing on the ground that you can take, which is meta currency or other airdrops, so use them as you get them, I think. Unless it's something really strong you know you need to save for a boss and you know a boss is coming up. Okay, we can have Vulcan, which is our current equipment in slot 1, penetrate enemies, or we can add 2 more Vulcan guns onto the mix. I'm going to do that. As you see there, now there are 4 Vulcans right here sitting next to my character. Okay, let's go and break the meta currency crystals and collect those. You can see up here in the top right, it has increased our meta currency we've gathered this run. Go and activate our Overload. We're getting a little bit swamped. The guys with the bigger crystals on their back explode. It's kind of annoying, but let's grab more damage for our Vulcans. Why not? Let's go ahead and turn the blood onto red instead. There we go. I just think that looks a little bit better, honestly. There's the crystal back guys that explode right there. Okay. And they do damage to friendly targets as well, so that's kind of nice. Okay, airdrop has arrived. Looks like we got a new yellow enemy spawning here. I assume they're just beefier. See if we can make our way over to that airdrop. Okay, that one's Overload again. Unlucky. I do dig grenades, but again, we got prism going on, so maybe this will count as the things fly out from our body. Maybe they'll go through the prism and it'll count. It doesn't look like they rotate through it, so that's unfortunate, but it is what it is. Grab another rank of amplification for prism, make it a little bit stronger. As projectiles fly through it, it makes those projectiles hit harder. It just increases that effect a little bit. Continue kind of just rotating around, grabbing XP when we can. Hopefully we get a magnet drop so we can pick up all the stuff we're not picking up here. Ooh, laser gun reflection, I like this. So now our laser gun will bounce off of enemies one time. You can get multiple ranks of this, so it's bouncing all over the place, and you can get multiple lasers firing at a time as well, which is pretty spiffy. You can see our kind of challenge things, our missions are listed up here, so we know what we're supposed to be doing. Oh, we're in trouble. Oh, wow, I just lost. Okay. Well, let's try it again. Okay, interesting. I don't usually lose. I need to pay a little bit closer attention, I guess. This is the first time I've tried recording this game, so commentating and playing at the same time is apparently a little bit difficult. Okay, let's focus more on building a good build, and then we'll focus on our mission objectives. So let's just start by giving our weapon more damage. Since we're running the class that focuses on weapon damage, we should probably focus on that initially, and then get our equipment rolling. Let's grab another reflection for our gun. Again, focusing more on the weapon than the equipment this time around to start. Make sure we're gobbling up all the XP we can. Get as strong as we can, as quick as we can. Yeah, we'll take an extra laser, so now we're firing off 2 lasers instead of 1. I was tempted to take the isolation shield for the damage absorption. We'll definitely take it if it's offered again, but doubling our damage is just too good a prospect to pass up. Isolation shield, I'm just going to use that right away, because I would like to get a new thing spawning. Isolation shield's not going to do a whole lot for me. I could save it for when things get hairy, but I'd rather just get more meta progression. Let's grab a little bit more health. That way we have just more buffer room to work with here as we take damage. Try to get some health regen as well, kind of pad that out a little bit. So if we take damage, it doesn't stick permanently. Let's go and activate our overload. Just keep frying things as quick as we can. 10% crit is always good. Because you can get up to 100% crit in this game, so it's actually pretty cool. When you kill bosses, there's oftentimes an option to get crit damage and crit rate, so you can boost it by 50% crit rate and 100% crit damage when you kill bosses sometimes, which is just amazing. Well, let's go ahead and grab faster fire rate on our laser gun, just get it popping even more. This is an airdrop cluster bomb, so we can activate that and just decimate the area. These are good to use on bosses, but in general, they're just extra damage added in, so. Grab that, I'm going to pop down and grab some more meta currency down south here. Hey, this is kind of a unique Swarm Survivor game. It's got some interesting mechanics. Skill is your ultimate ability that you can activate. That's my overload, so I can increase the effect or the duration of it. Or I can just add another reflection on my laser gun, which is what I'm going to do. So now it can bounce twice, and you can kind of see it bouncing all over the place now. It gets really nutty as you level it up. And this should work really well with Prism once we get it. Hopefully we get the option for Prism, so we can start developing that. Let's grab a little bit of health recovery. So if we do take a hit, we can heal it back up. I like to get 2 or 3 of these typically, and that's usually enough to sustain yourself. Yeah, let's grab another meta progression down south here. Just took a little bit of explosion damage. Good thing we just got that healing. You can see how quickly it kind of heals up there. Okay. Let's grab our first equipment item here. Let's grab vision. It's going to zoom our camera out, which is just kind of handy. UAV is really good. It's a good single target damage dealing equipment item. It does quite a hefty amount of damage as well, so It's pretty spiffy. Okay, I haven't seen the purple crystals yet, so I'm guessing the laser refracted and killed it off screen. I might have picked them up without even focusing on it, but this is a little mini boss here. It doesn't count as an actual boss though. It's more like an elite, I guess. So he's down. Let's go ahead and grab Vulcan again so we get those extra fire attacks going out up front for us. Let's grab a little bit more health recovery so we can just heal back up that missing health a little bit quicker. We'll get to a point where we're taking a lot of chip damage from projectiles later, so that's really helpful to have that kind of built up early. Looks like we got airdrops up north. There is a field. If you go outside of it for too long, you lose signal and you lose the match. I'm not sure how I feel about that. I think perhaps in the later levels that gets smaller or something, but eh. More experience or more vision, more damage on our Vulcans, more damage on all equipment. I'm gonna grab more damage on all equipment because we're gonna grab 3 or 4 equipment items on this run. I'm definitely gonna have a UAV and Prism activated if I can. Possibly Backwatcher as well because that's gonna give us more Prism procs. So I'm gonna save that one because we're pretty close to the first boss, I think. This is actually a really long run at 20 minutes. Oftentimes they're only 10 or 15 minutes, but this level is further into the progression of the region, so it's got a longer time period. So we're going to see some evolutions here, which is kind of cool. Let's go ahead and grab Vulcan Penetration. So our little yellow bullets that shoot forward are now going to penetrate one time, and so they can hit enemies behind the first enemy. It's kind of handy. We're definitely going to want to get some more range on it, though, because it's not going to penetrate a whole lot if it's only at mid-range like it is right now. Maybe we should use the Incendiary Bomb to keep more things spawning. There's our Prism. We definitely need that. Whenever projectiles go through the Prism, it has this like little yellow flash thing that it does. If you kind of watch it here, there it goes. Which is kind of cool, because then you know it's actually taken effect, you know? You can also just watch your damage numbers and see when it goes through it hits harder, but right now we're firing so quick it might be kind of hard to tell. You know, let's just use it. I think we're strong enough to kill the boss anyway. I'd rather keep the meta progression spawning. So this is the same effect that the grenades do. They leave that patch of fire on the ground, but usually it just fires off 1 instead of 5. So it's kind of cool. I do really need the range. I really need the range on the Vulcan right now. I'll get the Prism leveled up 4 times. That shouldn't be a problem. Alright, there's our first boss. We're going to go ahead and overload. Do some extra damage to him. There we go. I've unlocked a mod that lets me see his health bar, which is kind of cool. Bosses always drop this thing called a Hypercore, which is like a super level. So when we activate it here, we're going to get some choices. Good, we got the 50% crit rate at 100% crit damage, or we can do 100% extra damage on our equipment. I'm going to go ahead and do the crit rate and damage because I always kind of lean towards that one. I think it's extremely strong if I get it as an option. Now I'm up to 75% crit rate and 300% crit damage. So I just got a whole lot stronger. You see my crits are hitting for 73. It's pretty good. 99 as well. 99 must be the Vulcans, and 73 is probably the laser. Alright, what do we got? Magnetic field, excellent. That one I will save until we get quite a bit of extra stuff built up here. Let's go and grab an extra laser. We got 3 lasers now. That's the most I've ever seen. I don't know if it can go up higher, but 3 lasers gets kind of crazy with all the refractions going on. Now we're kind of in a mode where we're strong enough we can just kind of stand still and let the farm come to us. And then just activate the Prism once we have an elite or a boss come, or activate the magnetic field once we have an elite or boss come into the view. That way we'll gain a power spike once we fight that stronger enemy. Or if we start to get overwhelmed, we can always activate it. I'm taking damage from these little blue projectiles here. That are getting fired off by these guys with the tails. So I gotta be kind of wary of that. Let's go ahead and get up to 85% crit rates. Once we get to 100 or slightly more than 100, we'll stop grabbing that, obviously. I don't think there's any way to like double crit or anything like that, so going up to 200% crit rate I don't think does anything. If I'm incorrect about that, please let me know in the comments, but I don't think it has that mechanic like Soulstone Survivors does. Okay, let's grab the Ion Shield. It's going to give us some damage absorption to help deal with all that chip damage from those projectiles. Basically what this does is it'll absorb 1 instance of damage, and then as I level it up, it'll absorb 2, 3 instances, that kind of thing. We can also reduce its charging time, which is kind of cool. I don't think we need any more reflections on our laser gun. I think that's fine, honestly. So let's go ahead and grab faster recharge time on the Ion Shield, I think. Health recovery could have been a good option too, but we already have 2 or 3 ranks of that, so I think we're fine. I say I'm going to stand still and then I just start moving around like crazy. Mostly because the projectiles came out, right? So we had to be dodging those projectiles. You can see my Ion Shield just absorbed a projectile. Okay. Let's grab the UAV. It's a little drone that rotates through and fires a very strong single target laser. When you level them up and evolve them, they fire constantly and they're super duper strong. We really need to get more levels on our prism though, since that's one of the main goals we have. Oh, it looks like I could have, it says accumulation challenge. I could have done one at a time, I guess, but oh well. Let's go an extra proc of the shield. You can see it changed color. Each time you take damage, it'll change color to indicate how many charges you have. So green is 2 charges, blue is 1 charge, purple is 3, and there's like sky blue color one, which is 4. That's the highest I've seen, but... Alright. What do you guys think? Does this look interesting to you? I think it's kind of an interesting take on the genre. It doesn't do anything massively new, it just has a lot to it. So there's a lot of like replayability and unlockability to it, which is kind of cool. And the effects and the abilities look pretty unique. Let's grab 2 more Vulcans. We just have an array of those little guys shooting around us. It's kind of handy. Okay. We're starting to get a little overwhelmed here. We're going to overload. Let's grab another prism. So now we have... Wait. That was a second prism, wasn't it? We should have 2 rotating around us. I might have read that wrong. Shoot. Okay, overload. Go and kill these guys. Excellent. It's getting pretty close to a time where we need to grab that magnet, honestly. I think we're getting to a point where we're not killing efficiently enough. The nice thing about the laser gun is the refraction on it makes it so when you start getting swarmed like this, it's not as big of a deal. Let's grab UAV damage. Make that thing hit even harder, get it closer to evolving. The weapons never evolve, sadly, but the equipment does. So that's something to keep in mind. Now let's grab the magnet. We have 4 levels off the magnet to start here. Let's grab crit rate. This will get us to 95% crit rates. Some more weapon damage sounds great. Second UAV sounds great. 2 more Vulcans, amazing. Okay, so we're up to 6 Vulcans, I think. There we go, +1 prism. There we go, now we have 2. The other one must have been like strength or amplification or something. 3 is the most I've seen of the prisms, but maybe you can get 4. I'm not quite sure. I wish I could zoom in a little when I want to, but oh well. I did zoom out the field of vision, so I guess I can't complain too much. Looks like I have 5, or no, it looks like I have 6 Vulcans right now. My guy's firing so fast it's a little hard to tell, but looks like I got 6. Let's grab more crit damage. Make those crits hit harder. 40% more damage is pretty significant, and it's going to be on everything, because everything is always going to crit, more or less, since we're at 95%. We'll get that last 5% with 1 more upgrade and call that good. And we'll have constant crits. It's constant 300, 400% damage. Go ahead and activate Overload here. Then we got Airdrop, Ice Ring. Okay, that's meh. Force field range. Yes, please. So that's going to make that bubble bigger and more effective. Great. Love it. How much is a bubble hitting for? You have to get close enough to hit something before it's dead. That's the problem. Save a dash for it, I guess. Wait till they get close and dash into somebody. Force field attack frequency. That's kind of cool. Or another prism. Definitely another prism. Okay, so now we have 3 prisms and we've completed our challenge. But you'll notice as there are 3 prisms now, it's a lot easier to make sure your projectiles are going through one of the prisms at all times. You know, or not at all times, but frequently. Let's gobble up some experience here. Groovy. More prism amplification strength. Don't mind if I do. Make it hit even harder when it rolls through that prism. 159, nice. 160. Very cool. Alright, got another magnet. Awesome. I love to see it. That means I can kind of just roam around and kill things and then come back to it for the suck up whenever I want. Love it. Or I could just do a standstill kind of thing. Here. Okay, so it looks like it does about 50 damage, the force field. So not a significant amount, but... Oh man, okay, that's a little elite. Let's go and activate our overload to take care of him. You can see the elites drop a blue crystal worth a bit more experience. Gonna grab that. We're gonna need... Let's go and grab prism penetration. So it's gonna make it so anything that goes through the prism is gonna penetrate enemies once, in addition to whatever other effects it has. This is gonna make our laser refract a little bit less because it will penetrate a little bit more. But it should make it a little bit stronger as we start to get overwhelmed here. Which we are certainly having happen at the moment. Let's go and grab the magnet now. We need the power. Okay, let's grab faster recharge time on our ion shield because we are taking a significant amount of damage. Go ahead and overload again. $348, that must be our UAVs doing 348 damage. Or, it must have been a UAV that fired through a prism. This is the only thing that makes sense there. I swear I just saw like 1,000, but maybe it's just multiple 100s stacked on top of each other. Another overload. Might not be a bad idea to do cooldown reduction on the overload, it's looking like. A little more fire rate on the laser gun's good too. We can start grabbing grenades. Let's grab grenades. Give us a little extra area of effect damage on the ground. Go and grab the incendiary bomb right now. Definitely looks like we need it. Those projectiles are really beating the crap out of us. Let's just jump into enemies and die. Okay, well, we'll go ahead and call that a video. Apparently I did not accomplish all 3 objectives of my mission. Yeah, I got my butt kicked, but that's okay. We got 2 of the 3, so I'll have to go back in there and do the challenges. Maybe I'll just do them one at a time. But yeah, we got some more meta currency, so we can level up stuff. We can unlock new things. Let's go ahead and come on in here, and I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to level up how much HP we heal every time we level up. That should help us survive a little bit better, so we'll level that up a few times. So, level 3, so now we get 15% of our max HP every time we level up. That's going to be pretty strong. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. Check back, we might do some more runs of this. It's a really fun game, I definitely recommend checking it out. It is called Greedland. It's on Steam. Have a look. It's pretty fun. So, all right. Thanks, guys. Make sure you like, favorite, share, subscribe, and check back for more content from Goblin Gaming. Bye, y'all.